Our next contest at the Better Photography Weekly Challenge is the Road Less Travel. Our judge and mentor is Tonali Mukherjee. She's a Mumbai based freelance photographer, filmmaker, and writer. She specializes in travel and lifestyle and has worked extensively for clients like Cox and Kings, Nat Geo Traveler India, Viacom India, and various European TV channels. She began her career as a photojournalist with the Hindustan Times and then went on to work for publications like Mumbai Mirror, Midday, Harper Bazaar, Vogue, Grazia, Sports Illustrated India, Marie Claire, and Femina, amongst others. Hi, Tanali.
Hi, hi. Thanks for having me here. So let's just get started with this whole road less travel thing. Firstly, I love the topic. I love the promise of something like road less travel because it opens up to so many different aspects, not just like the obvious where you're going somewhere where people haven't been, or you're going there for the first time, or it's a place that you wanted to go for the longest time and you finally made it happen. But it's also, I think it lends to the larger theme, which is journey. And that's something which I think has fascinated me since the longest time because, like you must have realized, my profile is not just photography. My profile is anything which is related to storytelling. And in storytelling, journeys are it. That's exactly the whole thing. Because when someone starts telling you a story, you are talking about a point where something has not happened. Then the story is about what has happened, and you end with being a different person. You end with being in a different place. You end with a different skill set, a different learning, and you end as a different person. Even if the story is something like if it's a 90-minute film, or if it's like a 2-minute Insta reel, or it's like a photograph where you've entered the world of that photograph and you emerge out of it either with a sense of I want to go there, or a sense of, oh, I didn't know this happened. Like this is great. This is something new that I've learned. So I feel like this whole journey of storytelling, is very important to whatever medium you're part of, which is why I find it very easy to switch between like still images and moving images, because ultimately the medium is talking about a story, about telling a story. Also, you will notice my bias of stories because I started off with Hindustan Times, as a photojournalist. And the first thing that we were told is you are a photojournalist. You're not just like a photographer, you're not just like there to make images that are beautiful, but you're there to make images that will tell a story and that will prove a point, or that will make people think. And that was very important because a lot of times you would go to places that weren't welcoming, like we weren't allowed to be there, or we weren't supposed to be there, or the story that was breaking was not the most glamorous. I mean, of course it's daily news, so like we've seen it all, and we still, it felt a little at times disrespectful or like invasive to be there with our cameras, because we were the last people who were supposed to be there. But we knew that at the end of the day, like our bullseye was the fact that we're going to be coming out of this with the story, and the story is going to go out and it's going to be telling people about a situation, or a problem that is there. So in that way, I feel like the road less traveled actually is very versatile, because you could the road less traveled could literally be a story that nobody would want to touch. It could be a story like like what Anushree Fadnavis does. She, I love the fact that she used her access to the women's compartment in a Mumbai local and showed this to people who could not be there. For them, for the other half of the population, which are the men, this is a road less traveled. It's the same journey from Churchgate to Virar, but in a different compartment. That is a world that is not accessible to them, and this becomes the road less traveled. And she went ahead and she spoke to people, and that becomes the road less traveled for me there, because for me, I'm also somebody who's traveled in local trains a lot. As a photographer, I have so many stories in my head, like my co-passengers, their conversations. I tend to eavesdrop a lot because I'm a writer. We get a lot of inspiration from our co-passengers. And the kind of stories that I've heard, but I've never really had like the inclination. Rather, I've had the inclination, but I haven't had like maybe I was a little too polite, and I was like, no, I don't want to like go and take a picture right now, or I would just like very sneakily like take a picture and like, okay, I'm not looking. So I do that, but Anushree went ahead and broke that barrier, and she spoke to her passenger. And she spoke to the people around, and she's got these beautiful pictures, and I feel that is the road less traveled on a path that is everyday travel. you know. So I feel like this topic is something which, you know, you can actually extend and you can lend to a lot of your photographs. I'm also aware that, you know, like 99% of us are going to be, you know, looking into our archives now, and you know, we may have not thought of this theme when shooting it, but when you start looking at it again with that lens, you realize that, yeah, this is actually a story that, you know, is less traveled for me. So what I'm going to do is today, when I'll take you through a few photographers, all of them personal favorites of mine. Two of them I'm lucky to be like very good friends with, and you know, their journeys and their stories are less traveled. They are in places that are remote. They are sometimes about communities that are remote. They're sometimes about communities that are in the public eye, but about problems that are remote, you know, and stories that people didn't want to talk about, stories that people don't want to like, you know, they don't realize they can talk about. Okay. So I'll just take you through like some of my work to give you an idea of like, so what I first thought about when you know, when I heard road less traveled, right? So the first idea was a picture of me where I'm like, so I have this fascination for jungles, and especially urban jungles, jungles that are like, you know, hidden in plain sight, or the way like right now, because given the fact that we're such a overly, you know, developed earth as such, you know, like where is it that, you know, you find absolute green, you know, like just like some sort of like quiet in nature. So this was right in the middle of Kuala Lumpur, you know, bang in the center of Kuala Lumpur, and all the images coming out of Kuala Lumpur are actually the Petronas towers, you know, all these huge towers that they have. It's a beautiful city. It's very like, you know, it's a very vertical city, and literally in the shadows of the Petronas is a small little garden which actually has like some really old trees there. So I was really, you know, like fascinated when I found this. So I mean, I think the point here is the fact that you don't really need to go, you don't need to like pick up your bags and, you know, like adhere to that stereotype of, oh, wow, a photographer, a travel photographer means exotic. Actually, it can be something in the backyard which people don't know about, you know, which you are not aware about. And the fact that, you know, like, you know, that if you, I mean, as a photographer, it's your perspective that you're showing, right? So what you choose, the frame that you choose to show can actually be very, very unique. Like, if I tell you that this was a photograph that I shot, like, you know, in the middle of the Northeast India, you would believe it. You know, it's deep in the jungles, you'd believe it. You wouldn't know if I didn't tell you that, you know, the moment you step a little away from it, you can actually see the Petronas towers right next to the trees, you know. So it's again like this, the whole idea of a road, about, you know, road less travel could actually be a very you know, fluid you know, concept, depending upon like how you tend to, you know, think about it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take you through a few pictures of mine which I want to give you which will give you an idea of just of my interpretation of the theme, and especially given the fact that, you know, I am a traveler, like majority of my work is actually travel, and majority of my work is about, you know, like creating images or creating stories, you know, like while I'm on the road. So in 2018, around like November, December, I spent 2 months in the Northeast India, and I spent majority of the portion in Meghalaya. You know, I prefer to travel without a return ticket. You know, I have the luxury of doing that because this is my job. So when I went there, I realized that, you know, I had underestimated like how beautiful Meghalaya would be, and we all know about the Living Root bridges, right? Like we all know that that's like the place to be, and that's what you should be seeing. But once we went there, we were told that there is something called Paradise or Rainbow Falls, which is a little further away from the Living Root bridges. And mostly the thing is, even the trek to the Living Root bridges is quite, you know, it's quite taxing for anyone, like from the city especially, because you keep walking a lot. So, and a lot of people want to do it within a day because they have a limited amount of time. We had the time, so we actually walked ahead and we went and we found this beautiful, you know, like waterfall. And if, I don't know if you can see, but there is like a slight, you know, like a rainbow formed, you know, right at the base, which is why it's called the Rainbow Falls. But the thing is, so, you know, when you talk about road less traveled and you talk about travel photographs, the backlash that I was talking about is the fact that the only pictures that you see are good looking, pristine photographs, you know, like just beautiful, but then it's blah, right? Like I've literally stopped taking pictures, which I know that I can find better versions of on the internet, or somebody has been commissioned to make much beautiful pictures of. Like when I went to Paris, I did not shoot the Eiffel Tower because there's nothing that I felt I could add to the Eiffel Tower, like to shooting the Eiffel Tower, that I can't find better on the internet. Now, this is just me. And also the fact that, I've been a photographer for a really long time now. I've been working in visuals for a really long time now. So I somewhere have a visual fatigue as well. Like I'm just like tired of seeing the same kind of images again and again. But I think the reason why I take such photographs, even though they're beautiful and just like clean and pristine, is number one, I feel like, of course, people should know about it. Like when I put this up on my Instagram, this one is the one that will get me the maximum eyeballs and the likes. But also the fact that this exists, like we are in a place right now where we feel like we've overmined and we've overbuilt Earth. But here, if you actually do go ahead, because it took me, and I think another 2 hours to walk to this place, and I'm saying 2 hours is in just one way through a forest and through without any directions as such. You just had a little like kacha rasta that you had to follow, and I came here. So, and many people who live in Meghalaya themselves have told me that they haven't come here. Like a lot of my friends who live in the Northeast have said, no, we haven't been here yet. So just as a reminder that, hey, you know what? Sometimes the journey is what is being evoked when I look at the picture, and it's a picture worth making for that reason. Okay. Similarly, this picture, okay, this is a very simple photograph of like, a beautiful waterfall. This is again in Meghalaya, and this is something that we just stumbled upon. We knew that there was something beautiful around this area. We were not sure what. And I love the lack of like signs in Meghalaya, and we had like a map, so we could just like, keep looking around and seeing. This is something that we had to walk down, like walk down a place, and we're like, are you sure this is even going to lead to, a waterfall? Like, where are we going? And we just turned the corner after like half an hour of straight climbing down from the forest, and we found this. So again, it's just, for me, this is a very generic picture of a beautiful waterfall. Like, I would not be sharing my Iceland pictures with you, because Iceland is something that you can access like, literally like in a car. That's not a road less traveled, even though it's like, it could be a destination people want to save up for and then go to. But here, like Meghalaya, like literally in our backyard, is still less travel because of the effort that it takes to get there. So if there is a photograph that sort of invokes this nostalgia or this memory of a journey, and that journey has changed you as a person or made you feel proud that you could make it here when you thought you couldn't, or it's something that you had to explore and find out, that is a picture of a road less traveled. Okay, this is actually let me just try to make it full screen for you. Okay, I'm just gonna have to, I think, go individually because otherwise it doesn't work. So this is a picture of, again, of Pondicherry, of Sora, okay, and of Cherrapunji. And it's literally like road less traveled, like this is right at the edge. If you see here right now, there's a deep valley that separates, like both the sides. And every time I walked down here, like there was hardly any car, and it had just rained. So it's beautiful. The light is fresh. And again, a picture like this, which, like I wouldn't put this up anywhere, on my social media or on my website, but this is a very stark reminder of how, like just like being alone in a so-called developed city or a town feels like, so this is a beautiful, reminder of that. The next picture is actually a surprise for me, because this is a picture that I took. We had gone to Orissa, we had gone to Chilika, and the day that we decided to go to Chilika, we had taken a bike and we had just basically set off. It turned out to be a day of a storm. Like there was a typhoon, there was like I think there was some sort of a cyclone or something that was happening somewhere. So like they had shut down Chilika. So a lot of people had told me about like, oh, you can go see the dolphins and you can see like, like you can just take a boat ride and stuff. And while I'm not big on touristic endeavors, I was like, let's just go have a look at it. And what we found instead is a very overcast, like a very beautiful, but a very overcast sort of a place. And on the way back, and we were coming back quickly because of course it was raining, it was cold, it was windy. It was not like the best, time to be out, especially on a bike. I stopped and I said, I want to get this picture because look at it. Like it's just like a little hut in the middle of a small little, like it's not even an island. It's literally a protrusion from the main road that we were in, because I'm standing on a highway and I'm taking this picture. And this, when I put this up on Instagram, because this literally looks like something out of a fantasy, right? Like a dream that, I want to retire, or I want to just like, escape the city life and I want to go here. Just the whole ambience of the photograph. And this has been so far like the most popular photograph on my Instagram. You know, like I have had people like, you know, just messaging me saying that, oh, I just love how this picture makes me feel. And I've had people telling me I want to go there. And actually, however much people may deny it, you know, like however, like, you know, I would want to say that, oh, I'm not like, I don't believe in like being like a travel influencer. As a travel photographer, as a travel content creator, it's very important that my photographs leave that feeling of, oh wow, this is so beautiful, I want to go there. That's important, you know, like when I work with like, you know, a travel agency, or when a company or a hotel hires me to work for them, it's not, they don't care about how my journey to the place was, you know, like that's abstract, that's my personal journey. They care about like what about my journey is going to attract other people to take the same journey. That's what they're paying me for, right? So like for me, like it's very important that I can create images which make you feel like, oh, I want to be there. Like when I went to, so I shot extensively for, you know, a luxury camp in Ladakh, and we were there for a year. We were there, we kept going up and down, you know, for a year. And the whole time when we were there, we kept like asking ourselves, like, this is just so stunning, where do we point our camera towards, you know, because we went there in winter when it was minus 23, we went there in the summer when it was, you know, like plus 20. But the, not only was the different start, but even like, you know, the ambience, like the people, there was so much about it. So I think here the responsibility then becomes like, stop ranting about your journey there personally and show me the place, you know. So there has to be like a good balance between the two. Yeah, just an example of like a photograph that I've shot, again I think in the Northeast, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, this was in the Northeast, and this was it was supposed to be one of those little nature parks. And honestly, it was a bit of a disappointment. But what I liked about this, and even about Iceland, is that you can actually go behind where the waterfall is. So if the water is falling from top, you can stand behind the waterfall, and you can literally like feel the force of it, and you can get a different, a unique perspective to it. Yeah, you guys must have seen my wallpaper already. I'm obsessed with dogs. So, you know, like this was a picture that I made in Ladakh when we were shooting a night sky, you know, and there was this dog from the camp that was following me around. His name was Tashi, and a beautiful dog. And, you know, he just kept like in the middle of the night when you can't see anything around you because you're just looking up in the sky. And Ladakh is stunning, you know, the Nubra Valley, especially in the night skies in September. And I can see the moon, and suddenly something bumps me in the dark, and it's his dog. So I had to like, so I basically had like a, you know, like a lamp. So I flashed him once, and he looked at me, and then he was trying to run away because he didn't want me to like catch him in the night. So this was a little, you know, like a game that I played with him. And I think this fits into this road less travel image, because sometimes, you know what, you can be in a place in the day, has a completely different idea, like completely different feel to it. This picture doesn't show you that, you know, right behind are these beautiful you know, like hills and mountains. But in the night, that place takes up a completely different you know, like atmosphere. So this could be one of your images as well. One more of the, you know, same thing. It's Mosori. It's another dog. It's just me and my dog obsession. But this is a picture that I actually wanted to show you and wanted to talk to you about. I don't know if, can you see it clearly? Yeah. Okay. So this is basically something that I shot again in the Northeast, in Nagaland, in a place called Zuko Valley, which is a trek above from Kohima. And they promised me it's going to be stunning. The trek was beautiful. I'm not a very like good trekker. I like trekking, but I don't know if I'm good at it. You know, I'm too much of a city girl to like suddenly like balance myself on, you know, ledges and stuff, and I feel like I'm going to fall down. But I did manage to come up here, and the moment I came up, I thought I died and reached heaven, because this is what I saw. You know, and I don't know how many, if you can see it clearly, or if you can. So this is basically this is where I'm standing, right? Like this place with all these, you know, with this flora, and it looks almost like as though I've used a flash, you know, in the foreground, but I haven't. What has happened here is actually a very interesting natural phenomena, and a very rare phenomena, which a lot of us can probably see when we travel in flights. It's when the light source is behind you. Okay, when the sun is behind you and you are above the clouds. Okay, now this is very this happens very often in, you know, in flights, right? Like, and you can see your own flight car, like the shadow on the clouds below you, and you can take a picture there. But what happened here is, this is a phenomena called the glory. And it basically is, so what you're seeing in front, this little whole black thing here, is actually a cloud. There's nothing there. It's not a ridge. It's not a silhouette of a ridge. It's actually the shadow of the mountain that I'm standing on, which is fallen on this cloud. And this little thing that you see, this little bump is me. Okay. And this is a circular rainbow that's fallen, that's actually shining because the sun is right behind me. So this is my shadow, standing on the mountain, being projected, like literally being projected on like a curtain of clouds in front of me. And this is that these are those times when you actually hope and you wish that your camera is like there, like you have your camera on you and you have like the proper lens, you have the proper setting, because these are the kind of pictures that you want to like preserve, like you just want to keep, and you do not know whether you want to get it or not. I did not carry my SLR. I made a mistake. I didn't carry my SLR with me at this time because I was like, okay, listen, I'm going to be climbing up. I don't think I can handle two things. So I very happily carried just my phone, and I regretted it because I know I would have had a much better photograph if I could have controlled my settings. But still, I feel like my phone has done a decent job so far. And this for me, like, the moment you tell me road less travel, the first picture, the first image, or the first memory that gets into your head, that is your road less travel moment. And this was one of those. When you told me about road less travel, I was thinking, okay, now I'm stuck in Bombay. How can I be road less travel in Bombay? And I'll just quickly take you through a few pictures that I feel will will sort of wait, actually, I think I can just open them all, right? On preview. So yeah, so this will, like, it sort of gives you like an idea of the whole, road less travel feeling in a city like Bombay. Okay. Okay, I don't know why this is there, but I think this should work. Yeah, it does. Okay, so this is a picture I think that you've already seen because it's on the poster. Bombay in the in the monsoons is just like stunning. It's, I think, one of the most stunning places that I've seen in the monsoons. And here, of course, for me, the whole, I mean, there are people in the frame. There's a lot of things happening in the frame. I'm obviously in a car, so there's, there's movement, there's traffic. But for me, it's less travel because of just everybody just stopping and soaking in the, the atmosphere, and the light, of course, just like falling beautifully right onto the, onto the window. But again, moments that you can steal, I think it's like a challenge in a city like Bombay or wherever you are, if you can steal that quietness and that peace, in this moment between, in a life that is very hectic. Okay, similarly here, this was in Dharavi, so this is something that I wanted to break away from. I wanted to break away from this whole image of, Dharavi being like an overcrowded, exhausted, tired place. This is also a place people call home. This is a place which has a lot of nooks and corners where people can get solitude, can get rest. And this was one of these images, somebody like going back home. I came back to Bombay after a long time, when I made this image, and I was amazed at how beautiful the sky is, because Bombay sky sometimes can be a huge problem. It's always burnt out, but this was beautiful. And Haji Ali, and there was nobody on the road. And I was like, this is stunning. Again, my love for monsoons and Bombay continues, like these are all pictures that you'll see on my Instagram, because now I end up like putting them directly on Instagram the moment I shoot them. And I love this whole idea of like just being able to walk in the rains without anyone around you. And for some lucky reason that day, the traffic was also pretty less that day. This is a picture that I actually made for you, Nilüfer, when we had gone to Worli village for our, phone photography edition for better photography. We did that little walk. First time that you guys took me for a walk at Worli village, because I hadn't been there all my life, even though I live so close. And again, my fascination for, just like seeing things that remain unseen. So I try to look at animals and everywhere. And cats are usually there's, little lurking on the periphery, trying to run away from attention and stuff. So I was waiting for that cat to jump. I wish he would have jumped, but then he didn't. He decided to just sit down there. So this was the only one which I got with a silhouette there. So yeah, this is my version of a road less traveled in Bombay, like, in the middle of a megapolis, in the middle of all this, like horns and, all this cacophony of, like just existence, right? And then suddenly you have like this little tiny corner. And also the very fact that you have like you have a shrine there, you have a place where people come to like, just like reflect, introspect, they come with their problems, they come with their joys. And, you have this little corner where there is like in the background, the city is still there, but you are very much like, in a little corner of peace, this is a picture that I made in my room. Actually, I can see it now that I'm talking to you all, it's right in front of me. And this is I love the way the light falls in my room, at certain points of the day. And I've realized that now, because I'm at home, that my house has become like my canvas right now. Like I know at which point, at 5 o'clock in the evening, the sun's gonna be there. It's gonna reflect and fall on this wall at this particular time, or at like 6:30, the sun's right up there, so it's gonna be this beautiful pinkish hue that's gonna fall on this part of my, wall. And these are things that I'm seeing now because I'm spending excessive amount of time at home. And it's just a way of telling you that, hey, you know what, even if you're at home, there could be a road less traveled even at your place. So this is just a melee of actually shadows. I think this has also been used in better photography like a few years ago. Did I manage to? Okay, so it seems those pictures are not coming. Okay, this is basically a little series that I did, and I think little series, actually not even a series, a mini series that I did for Nat Geo Traveler. When they called me last year and they said, we want to know how travelers are spending their time. Like just when the lockdown happened, they were like, what are you guys doing? Like you must be going mad. Yes, I'm going mad, but like I had to find a way of doing something. So I actually started making friends with the birds around my house. And this guy, I call him Wingy. He's the fourth generation of ravens that I'm feeding. So by the time that I became friends with him, he became bold enough to let me feed him right next to him and stuff, because ravens are usually less trusting. They're very smart and they're less trusting than crows are. Then Wingy became a friend, and he ended up walking around my house. So here he is sitting on my on my basin, and here he is him and his friend walking around my house. So this was my exploration of my space, my living space, which I'm able to now extend and share with animals, and figure out okay, this is my version of a road less traveled in a place that I live in a place that I know every nook and corner of. But I feel like this lockdown has been a very good way of challenging yourself and asking yourself, hey, so what is it that I am what is it that I am missing out? Because I'm so used to, eyes tend to get tired, right? You see the same thing again and again. You don't tend to look. So what is it that I can be adding? What is it that I can be talking about? That is different. That is, maybe it's mundane, but I'm seeing it from a new perspective completely. All right. I'm going to now show you a few, some work of like my friends, like I said, very, very good photographers. And I'll take you, and of course, one legend who I wish I was a friend with. So what I'm going to do is I'll just take you through their work, because it's sort of like falls on both the spectrums of a road less traveled. One is the obvious spectrum, which is you take a trip, you take a journey, which is like, you've never been there before. Okay, and the other one is where you take a journey which people are not very sure about going down the road of. Okay, I'll start with the obvious one and the more beautiful one, actually. So this is by a photographer called Christian Tamsar. His name is here. Okay, he is an Estonian photographer who spends a lot of his time in India. A very interesting mix of photojournalism and travel photography, as well as mountaineering, because he is a mountaineer. Like he and his climbing partner have they were on a quest to complete this the 7 summits, which is basically the highest peak on every continent. I think he's done like 4 of them. So what happened here is, like, when I started looking at his pictures, I realized that so he's got a very strong his photographs have a sense of like a very strong opinion. I think just it's a sense of wonder, it's a sense of awe, like, look at this. And the thing is, Chris is one of these people who has actually managed to take a camera up to places where people are just trying to hold on to ropes, and holding on to their poles. Because when you're climbing up, with your oxygen levels falling down, and with the kind of wind chill and the wind speed, it's actually very difficult. At that time, you're like, that's the real time of like, oh, are you a photographer or are you not? Because your SLR at that time is not a friend. At that time it's more like another load to carry. It's more like, oh God, I can't take out my gloves and work. I remember shooting in Ladakh in minus, we were in Pangong Lake in minus 23. The winds were blowing, so the real feel was even lesser. And I took the glove off and our hands froze, but you still want to make that picture. So that is the kind of road less traveled I'm talking about here. So a lot of his pictures you will see are actually either places that people don't go to because it's very hard to get there. Like if you see right now this picture here, it's just his footprints are the only things that you see here, or there are, what I really like about his work is that even if he's gone to a place like, again, like Varanasi, okay, there's something which is very private about it, like the gaze that you have is like, you aren't supposed to be there, like you're supposed to be there, but you're trying to like not intrude, there's sort of I feel like there's a bit of like a calmness and a respect as well, that I'm going to give you your space. I'm here, I'm looking, I don't want to like intrude, but okay, I'll, like I'm here, I exist. This is from Minsk, and like Belarus, with its the whole like the government not being the most open, like they have these young like people who've been like told to like stand guard in front of national monuments. So again, like his pictures could be very like it has an opinion here. You on on one side of the diptych, you have like you have this whole authoritarian government happening, and here you have somebody who's living that kind of a life. Okay, this is his series, a part of a series from the Holy Lives, where he's gone to like Jerusalem and he's gone to a few other places, and just people like in the middle of their worship, again up in the mountains. This is his climbing partner. Just this, like it's just look how tiny humans are in comparison to like like how vast this world is. um, Another very interesting way of presenting your photographs. I really love this way actually, because if you notice, like he's managed to maintain lines, like this is like shot not in this is where they've climbed up to, by the way. And look at this, you can see this like continuation, so like again, just different ways of like showing, like a road less traveled, yes, but just look how gorgeous it is. This is the team that he went up with. This is again all of them just like in the middle of their. This was a part of a campaign that he had done for a particular team, that was climbing up, trying to trying to like get you out of like like the city life and get you up where people are not like where people are not supposed to be, and where few people make it. Again, this whole this whole thing about being solitude, or this whole thing about like capturing a moment in the middle of like a a crowd. Yeah, so I think you can see most of his work which is on his website. This is again from this from Zuko Valley in Nagaland, like another like one of the examples of like how solitude can be like very much a like a thing that is found either in like the mountains, or like in a place like Varanasi. Okay, but this is more on this his work is I think a perfect balance of like finding something unique in a place where there's a lot happening. Okay, the other kind of journey that I actually want to talk about is the internal journey, the journey inside. Okay, and this series is a series that I'm going to be sharing from another very close friend's website, Zishan Latif. I think some of you might have heard of him. He just won the World Press Photo right now, and I think contemporary issues, he got the third prize for his story of the Delhi riots aftermath. And so Zishan's somebody, again, I know him very well. I know him from a long time. I've seen him evolve as a person. I've seen him evolve as a photographer. And his work is something which comes from a very utterly personal space. He will never do things that, like he feels, you can't force him. And Z is a proper mix of like, like of commercial as well as, like personal work. Because his commercial work also, I mean, has a very, it has a strong opinion, same thing with Chris, like these are people who have like, they feel for what they're shooting, and like I wouldn't say Chris is a travel photographer, but he's definitely a mountain photographer. He's a photographer of places that has a connection to. Similarly, Z, he's I met him I think in 2018 when he was in Majuli in Assam shooting a long-term project, and I went and I was there with him for a little while, and I saw the way he has mingled with the community. Like he knows these people around. He like everyone knows him. Like they treat him like one of their own. And Z's work was basically talking about Majuli, which is like the largest river island in the world, and it's it's very famous for like for neo Vaishnavism. It's got like it's in Assam. It's a part of the Ahom civilization. Like I think these written in actually somewhere here. Oh yeah. Yeah, largest river island in the world, and the biggest problem that is happening right now is Majuli is here. Its erosion is actually causing like large chunks of the island, literally in front of our eyes, to just fall into the Brahmaputra. And this is an island where there is a post office. There are there are proper concrete roads. There are buses flying on that island. People are living there. They don't know for how long. Okay, so like I think it's insane how like how delicate and how fragile that system is right now. And what Z has done is he's gone ahead and he's taken the pictures there. You can see right from here? Yeah. So his work is actually available on his website, zishanalatif.com. And, like I'll just show you a little bit of it. And here I find like, so Z is not talking only about like, just, oh, look, this is a ecological disaster. He's talking about the lives that are on that island. And, I think his entire series is very delicate. I think it's very poignant. And I think it's like, I mean, sure, it's less travel because, like how many of us are going to like, we don't think about like Majuli, right? Like when we say that we want to go out somewhere. But on the other hand, you just go there and you see the island. You're like, okay, I'll send a postcard back home from, like the largest river island in the world and you come back. But here, Dishan has lived with them and he's like, there's a perspective to this island that, I didn't have access to when I was there. I was there for like a week. He's been there for 2 years, so like that insider's view that he's managed to get out, and that I think is a beautiful like road less traveled. So just like to show you, like he's done some very interesting work with maps as well, which you'll see. But just like to see, like how wild this island is and how it supports life. And this thing is now just gonna like fall apart. Take you to my third photographer who I love a lot. Okay, his name is Sebastião Salgado. Okay, I'm sure like a lot of people already know about him. Okay, but he actually came into the foray with his beautiful portraits. The first work of his that I saw was coming out of Africa, where he had these beautiful pictures of tribes, with their cattle, and the cattle had these long horns, and they were just stunning, stunning photographs. But I think the work that moved me the most about, from Salgado is not beautiful work, but it's important work. Okay, and that is his story, his essays about migrants, his stories, his essays about migrations. Okay, and it talks about that section of people that people don't really want to talk much about because it's an uncomfortable conversation. It talks about that section of people who don't have a place, who are moving around hoping to look for a better place, looking for a position or looking for like just like a little place where they can belong in this world. And this is a journey that is not a good journey. This is a journey that will have hopefully a good end, but this is a journey that's not a comfortable one. This is not a journey that you go on Instagram and tweet about, saying hashtag wanderlust. This is a journey that you make because you have no other option to. And this road less travel, this particular side of the world, I think is very explored, because there are a few photographers doing a lot of good work about it. But we as photographers, we as people interested in visual media, whether photography is your career or not, okay, I think if you can start pointing your camera to places and towards people who people don't know about, or who people don't really give much uh, much about, they don't it's not comfortable knowing about them, that becomes the kind of stories that really stays. That is another, I think it's another exploration of this whole concept of the road less traveled. And I think what I'm honestly trying to tell you is that you really don't need to go too far, to be on a road less traveled. It can be right in your backyard. It could be out of your window. It could be anything of that sort. So I'll just quickly, I don't want to take much of your time because you can see Salgado's work at your own, time on his website. Quickly take you through his work right now. So this is basically just like, him following people who are traveling around. People going to work, people going to different places, people just like, living and traveling in the meantime, and how migration affects like everyone. So if you see, like the theme of travel is very strong here. Like most of his work, there is like this one has a train, the previous one, again, there's a road, there's a cart here, the other one had a boat, so this whole concept of like, of this is like a pathway, so the whole concept of work, of like traveling, of like modes of transportation, okay, becomes very, very important here. This, of course, you recognize from, like communities that, people don't speak about, people don't know much about, people have like different perceptions about. Just taking your camera and just pointing it towards places that, like that people think they've seen, but actually what you are seeing every day is something very exotic for somebody on the other side of the world. So don't ever like dismiss off a particular situation or a particular scenario you're in because oh, it's not photogenic enough. What is photogenic at the end of the day? I mean, it's ultimately if you have a story to tell, like what could be more like interesting than that. This I think most of us would recognize. Man, he was in Marine Drive and we didn't know. This also like so many of us would recognize, right? So, like to give you an example, like I would not, no way am I encouraging you to get out during this crazy time. But again, like whenever things get better, when things get a little, like safer for you to step out, even your journey to your office or your journey to your college or your journey to a place that you go to every day has changed. That so suddenly the road most traveled has become the road less or the least traveled for you. So just go back down that road again and see how things have changed. Like a lot of pictures came out from photojournalists in Bombay and they kept sending it to me and I'm like, this is Bombay, like I can't believe it, it's completely empty. And they said, I hope we don't see Bombay like this again. This was during the first lockdown, and that became the road less traveled for us because we were just like, how, like, never in our wildest imaginations would we have realized that 5 o'clock weekday rush looks like this. There's nobody on the road, So we are all living through extraordinary times. We're living through like times where things are changing very fast, and there is like a very vague understanding of what the future holds. But if you can apply that sort of ambiguity to even like what you are used to as an everyday situation, you'll realize that you are every day that you're living, there's something new that you're doing, there's something new that you can discover in the perspective that you're seeing of the mundane, and that becomes your road less traveled.